Hello, and welcome to the fourth video in the Oracle Exadata Cloud Service Workshop series. In Lab 4, I'll be teaching you how to configure a development system from a pre-built OCI Marketplace image. After navigating to the OCI homepage, click on the top left-hand hamburger menu, scroll down to the Compute tab, and click on Instances. Ensure that you're in the correct compartment that you created in Lab 1. When you are, click on the blue Create Instance button. Here you'll be naming your instance. Click on the Change Image button. Click on the Oracle Images tab. Scroll down to the Oracle Cloud Developer image. Check that box. Check off that you've reviewed and accepted the Oracle Standard Terms and Restrictions. Click the blue Select Image when you have. Click your availability domain. I'm going to keep the same shape. Specify in the subnet if you've followed the VCN instructions from Lab 1. Choose the bastion. Choose the assigned public IP address. Here you'll be adding in your SSH key. For me personally, I use the terminal. When you've added in your SSH key, hit the blue Create button. It'll start provisioning. Give it some time, and when it's done, you'll see a green status. After giving it a few moments, the instance that you just provisioned should now have a green active running status when it's complete. Take note of the public IP address as you'll be needing that in the next steps. To start step 2, we're going to SSH into the instance that you just created. So let's open up the terminal if you're a Mac OS user. For those of you who are Windows users, there are instructions in the documentation as to how to use PowerShell to connect or how to SSH tunnel in using PuTTY. But for me, I have a Mac OS, so I will be using the terminal. So now we're going to SSH into the instance that you just created. I am SSH'd in. So now we're going to change the VNC password to start up the VNC viewer. So type in VNC password. Put in a password. Okay, the password has now been changed. Next, we'll be using the VNC server geometry command in the documentation to change the VNC viewer dimensions. The dimensions have now been changed. Now we are going to open up a different tab in the terminal. Here's where we'll be doing the tunnel in from the local machine. Paste in the tunneling command. I am now tunneled in. So we will be opening the VNC viewer, localhost :1. Open this up. Click continue. Type in the password that you use to change the VNC password. Now that we are SSH'd into our dev client, we're going to be going to the terminal. On the top left-hand corner, click on the Applications tab. Go down to System Tools and click on Terminal. Here we're going to be typing in the SQL Developer pathway line from the documentation. Type in the characters VI and then paste in the pathway. Press Enter. Now we're going to be modifying this configuration file. Scroll down to where you see the Set Java Home pathway that's commented out. Here we're going to be pasting in the Set Java Home pathway that's found in the documentation. So what you want to do is go to the line below it and paste in the pathway. So first press I for insert, move over, paste in the line. Now we're going to go back using the directional arrow keys, and we're going to delete the pound sign. So once you land on the S, press delete. So now what we've just done is we've made this a command. We're going to be appending the existing pathway with this on the end of it. So once you've done that, press the escape key, type in the colon WQ, and press enter. What you've just done by pressing colon WQ is it's the save and exit function in the terminal. So now we've just permanently modified the file so that now we can open up the SQL Developer application. Click on the Applications tab on the top left hand, go to the Programming section, and click on SQL Developer. To add a new connection, press the green plus button on the left-hand side. I've already created my database connection, and I will show you what the information looks like now. So once you press the green plus button, name your database connection. The username will be sys, S-Y-S. The role will be sysdba. Your password will be the password that you used when creating the database in Lab 3. The connection type is basic. Your host name is the private IP address of the node in the ECSD where your database is created, which for me is 10.0.2.3. You can find that by navigating to the OCI homepage. Click the top left-hand hamburger menu, scroll down to the bare metal VM and Exadata tab. Click on the database system that you created in Lab 2. From here, take note of two pieces of information. One is going to be your host domain name, which you'll need in just one moment. So take note of this domain name right here. Then, take note of the private IP address. So on the left-hand side, click on the Nodes tab. And the private IP address is found here for me, 10.0.2.3. So now navigating back to the VNC, put in your private IP address. And your service name, as per the documentation, is going to be the unique database name. That can be found by going to your database that you've created. For me, it's USRSC02. I'll click on that. The database unique name is found right here. Going back to the VNC, type in your unique database name, followed by the host domain name that I just showed you earlier. And when you are done, click Save and Test. You should receive a status of success. When you're done, hit Connect. Type in the password for the database again. Now I'm connected to the database. The next step is we're going to use the SQL Plus and the command line. So open up the terminal, make sure to change the database password where it says this right here. Put in your private IP address of the node right here. Change the port to 1521. And then your service name is going to be the database unique name by the host domain name that you used in the connection. So when you have this command, hit enter. Now you are in the SQL Plus. This concludes Lab 4. Thank you for watching.